Verve, online devotional videos.
The Gospel of John is amazing. It is the latest gospel written. Matthew, Mark, and Luke written first, and John is written a little bit later. John is written to a church that is already established and been around for 30 or 40 years, and they're already getting their traditions going and their thought processes going and how they do things. And so the Gospel of John is written to a church crowd, where Matthew, Mark, and Luke are written to a fledgling, birthing church. Well, the Gospel of John does something that's really unique. It addresses things that Matthew, Mark, and Luke don't address. It gives correctives in the stories that it includes, because Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they share a lot of material, and John just goes outside of that material and has other emphasis. And one in particular stands out in my mind all the time. In Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they say in the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took bread and he broke it, and it's the Last Supper, and it's the birth of our commandment for communion, the sacrament of communion. But John doesn't say that. He says this. He says, on the night that Jesus was betrayed, when the audience is waiting for the story of the Last Supper and the birth of communion, John says, on the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took a towel, wrapped it around himself, and he washes the disciples' feet. He does this menial task to serve the disciples. And the church then is expecting communion, but instead they see Jesus debasing himself or humbling himself and washing the feet of dusty fishermen. Why does John do that? You see, this is why I think the church liked the ritual, but they forgot that the ritual wasn't worth anything if you weren't living the life of Christ. The ritual was empowered by obedience, but also by living the way he lived. And John was calling the people, it's not a magical sacrament. It is a statement that I will live as he lived. And this is how Jesus lived. He humbled himself and he served, and he set an example, John says, for all of us to follow. Rituals are great, but they're only great if we're living the life. They have to come together, and then the world sees the light of Jesus Christ. We must live as he lived.
Verve, devotional videos to your inbox.